Sometimes it's the only way to protect the people you love. Protect the people you love.
Tired of the same old reboots and sequels? Hidden deep in Netflix's library are some sci-fi gems that most people scroll right past. But trust me, they're worth every minute. Welcome to Binge Watch with Sids. Today, we're counting down 10 underrated sci-fi movies on Netflix. Films that didn't get the hype they deserve, but will absolutely blow you away once you hit play. Number 10, The Wandering Earth, 2019.
Earth engine system failing. Total 121 facilities. Correction. 3,000. Correction.
At first, we've got something truly massive, The Wandering Earth, and trust me, this isn't your average disaster movie. Based on Liu Cixin's novella, the film throws us into a future where the sun is dying, and instead of building spaceships, humanity decides to literally move the entire planet out of its orbit to survive. Yeah, the Earth itself becomes the spaceship. What makes this film stand out is just how bold and ambitious it is. The visuals are jaw-dropping, with huge set pieces that honestly rival anything Hollywood has put out in the last decade. Imagine Armageddon crashing into Interstellar, but with a global perspective that makes it feel both fresh and epic at the same time. Now, I'll admit, it doesn't dive super deep into character development, but honestly, that's not the point here. The movie shines in its scale, its emotional weight, and that sense of sacrifice and unity that really pulls you in. For me, it's one of those rare non-English sci-fi blockbusters that proves the genre doesn't belong to just one corner of the world. If you're a sci-fi fan who loves spectacle with heart, The Wandering Earth is a ride you shouldn't miss. Number 9, Oxygen, 2021.
Elisabeth Sanchez. On commence par quoi?
Vous avez toutes les réponses. Comprenez ce qui déclenche vos souvenirs.
At number 9, we've got Oxygen, a nerve-wracking, claustrophobic sci-fi thriller that proves you don't need sprawling galaxies to tell a gripping story. Directed by Alexandria Aja and starring the phenomenal Melanie Laurent, the film drops us right into panic mode from the very first second. A woman wakes up sealed inside a cryogenic pod, her oxygen levels dropping fast, and she has no idea who she is or how she got there. As she scrambles for answers, guided only by an AI voice, she uncovers a mystery that stretches far beyond her tiny prison and even beyond Earth itself. What makes Oxygen so compelling is how it uses its small, confined setting to deliver massive tension and mind-bending twists. It's a survival story, yes, but also a puzzle box packed with themes of memory, identity, and humanity's future. If Buried kept you on edge or Moon made you think, this French language gem on Netflix is absolutely worth your time. It's one of those movies where you'll be holding your breath right along with her. Number 8, The Midnight Sky, 2020.
Comme c'est Stella.
Kicking things off, we've got The Midnight Sky, directed by and starring George Clooney. Now, this one isn't your typical fast-paced sci-fi flick. It's more of a slow burn, the kind that really makes you sit with it. Clooney plays a terminally ill scientist stranded in the Arctic, desperately trying to warn a crew of astronauts not to return to Earth after a global disaster. What I love about this film is that it doesn't try to wow you with explosions or non-stop action. Instead, it leans into mood, emotion, and some absolutely stunning visuals. There's a stillness to it that feels almost poetic. And if you're willing to slow down with it, it really sticks with you. The supporting cast, Felicity Jones, David Oyelowo, and Kyle Chandler, all bring solid performances that ground the story even more. I'll admit, it's not for everyone. Some people found it too slow. But personally, I think that quiet, haunting atmosphere is exactly what makes The Midnight Sky stand out. Number 7, Circle, 2015.
Okay, now
here's one that completely caught me off guard. Circle. Picture this, 50 strangers wake up in a dark room and every 2 minutes, someone is executed, unless the group votes on who goes next. It's like 12 angry men mashed up with Saw, but stripped down to just one room and a brutal ticking clock. What makes Circle so gripping is how it takes something so simple, standing in a circle, and turns it into this tense, psychological nightmare. There are no flashy effects, no crazy set pieces, but you don't even notice because the conversations about morality, prejudice, and survival hit harder than most big-budget sci-fi films. Personally, I loved how unpredictable it felt. You never really know who's next, and that constant pressure keeps you glued from start to finish. Sure, it's a little rough around the edges, but honestly, that rawness makes it even better. Circle proves you don't need huge effects to deliver huge ideas. Just fear, people, and the terrifying power of choice.
Number 6. The Discovery, 2017.
Now we have to show them what's behind it.
Coming in at number 6, we've got The Discovery, and this one really messes with your head in the best way possible. Imagine if science actually proved the afterlife was real. Sounds incredible, right? But here's the twist. Once the news breaks, people all over the world start taking their own lives just to get there. Creepy, unsettling, and thought-provoking all at once. The film stars Jason Segel, Rooney Mara, and the legendary Robert Redford, and it dives deep into the aftermath of that discovery. Instead of big action or flashy effects, the story leans into philosophy, memory, and regret. It's about second chances, would you love, and what it truly means to move on. I'll be honest, this is a slow burn kind of sci-fi. It's not about explosions or high-speed chases, but the eerie atmosphere and emotional depth really pull you in. And that third act, it throws a curveball that completely redefines the whole journey. If you're into shows like The O-Witch or films like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, then The Discovery is absolutely worth a watch. It's haunting, intimate, and it lingers in your mind long after the credits roll.
Number 5. Spectral, 2016.
There's no limit to how far they can spread. Unless we stop them.
At number 5, we've got Spectral, a Netflix original that often flies under the radar but honestly deserves way more love. Picture this, Call of Duty colliding with Ghostbusters but set against the backdrop of a gritty, war-torn Eastern Europe. Already sounds wild, right? James Badge Dale plays DARPA scientist Mark Klein, who's sent to figure out what's wiping out soldiers in an instant. At first, it looks like enemy fire, but the truth is way stranger. The attackers are ghost-like entities made from Bose-Einstein condensate, which is basically science's fancy way of saying you can't fight this with normal weapons. What I love about this movie is how it balances military tactics with straight-up supernatural chaos. Foggy streets, experimental gadgets, armored units, and an enemy you can barely see, all rolled into one relentless ride. The pacing never lets up, and while the science might be a little out there, it totally works in that fun, pulpy way sci-fi should. If you're into military thrillers with a supernatural twist, Spectral is absolutely worth the watch. It's slick, fast, and just the right kind of bonkers. Number 4. The Door into Summer, 2021.
はじめまして。リコはどこにいる？
奪われた幸せな未来。
全部計画が狂ったのよ。高倉さん。
Sliding into number 4, we've got The Door into Summer, a Japanese sci-fi drama that takes Robert A. Heinlein's classic novel and gives it a fresh, emotional spin. The story jumps between 1995 and 2025, following Soichiro, a brilliant robotics engineer who gets betrayed by the people closest to him. After being forced into cold sleep, he wakes up, decades later, in a future built on the very technology he once designed. But instead of chasing revenge, he makes a bold choice: to bend time itself and rewrite his past. What makes this film stand out is how it mixes classic sci-fi ideas, robot conspiracies, futuristic tech, buried patents, with something much more personal. And yes, there's even a scene-stealing talking cat named Pete, who adds a quirky charm to all the drama. It's part romance, part time travel adventure, and part reflection on what really matters when the future feels uncertain. If you enjoyed The Girl Who Leapt Through Time or even the heartfelt vibes of Your Name, this underrated Netflix gem might surprise you with just how much heart it has. Number 3. Space Sweepers, 2021.
목숨이 아깝다면 당장 도망치고 아니라면
너 먹고 안 되면 안 될 줄 알았다 그래. 안 괜찮아질 것 같아.
Sliding into number 3, we've got Space Sweepers, South Korea's very first space blockbuster. And wow, it's an absolute blast. Set in the year 2092, Earth is on the brink of collapse, and survival comes down to scavenging space junk. Enter a scrappy crew of misfit sweepers played by Song Joong-ki and Kim Tae-ri, who stumble across something far bigger than just scrap metal, a mysterious, childlike robot that could be either humanity's salvation or its destruction.
What really makes Space Sweepers stand out is how it balances pulse-pounding space battles and jaw-dropping visuals with surprisingly heartfelt drama and sharp commentary on class divides and corporate greed. Think Guardians of the Galaxy, but with more grit, more emotion, and a distinctly Korean flavor that gives it its own identity. It's funny, it's thrilling, it's emotional, and it proves that blockbuster sci-fi doesn't have to come from Hollywood to leave a mark. If you're after a high-energy, big-hearted space adventure, this Netflix gem has you covered. Number 2. I Am Mother, 2019.
Everything I do is to protect you.
At number 2, we've got I Am Mother, a film that proves you don't need a massive cast or flashy explosions to deliver chilling sci-fi. Set in a post-apocalyptic bunker, the story follows a teenage girl raised by an AI known only as Mother, voiced with eerie calm by Rose Byrne. At first, it feels like a safe, sterile world until a wounded stranger played by Hilary Swank shows up and turns everything upside down. Suddenly, the girl begins questioning not only the outside world, but also the very foundation of her own existence. What hooked me about this movie is how it mixes intimate human drama with unsettling ethical questions. Can we trust AI to nurture humanity, or is Mother hiding something darker? Clara Rugaard's performance as the conflicted daughter is phenomenal, and paired with Byrne's icy delivery, the tension never lets up. If Ex Machina and 10 Cloverfield Lane had a baby, it would be this movie, claustrophobic, smart, and thought-provoking. I Am Mother reminds us that sometimes the most terrifying monster isn't out there, it's the one that raised you. Number 1. What Happened to Monday, 2017.
Happens to you all.
Taking the top spot is What Happened to Monday, a dystopian thriller that's as brutal as it is brilliant. Set in a future where overpopulation has forced a strict one-child policy, 7 identical sisters secretly share a single identity to survive. Each one is named after a day of the week, and they rotate their lives in the outside world under one persona. But when Monday mysteriously vanishes, everything unravels. The story quickly spirals into chaos, packed with action, tension, and gut-punching twists. What really sells this film is Noomi Rapace. She doesn't just play one role, she embodies all 7 sisters, each with a distinct personality. Watching her switch between vulnerable, ruthless, witty, and defiant is a performance masterclass. Add in Willem Dafoe and Glenn Close, and the cast is rock solid. To me, this movie feels like Children of Men collided with Orphan Black, but with an even darker, more urgent edge. The world it builds is terrifyingly believable, and the stakes stay sky high from beginning to end. And there you have it, 10 underrated sci-fi gems on Netflix that didn't just fly under the radar, they flew through wormholes, crashed back to Earth, and are waiting for you to discover them. These are the kinds of films that make you think, spark big questions, and stay with you long after the credits roll. But what about you? Did your favorite make the cut, or is there a hidden gem you think deserves the spotlight? Drop it in the comments. We're always hunting for the next mind-bending watch. If you enjoyed this list, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more overlooked treasures, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop. Until next time, happy binging, and we'll see you on the couch.